Our special guests this evening are two beautiful and dynamic women who walk in their purpose each and every day. Please let me welcome our very first guest, Miss Joy Jackson. Joy is the visionary behind Speaking of Joy. She's a renowned life coach, professional speaker, and Amazon #1 best-selling author. Her work is her ministry, dedicated to empowering women to embrace their God-given purpose. With a captivating TED by Alif talk under her belt, Joy inspires audiences worldwide with her passion for living intentionally and on purpose. She's a relentless advocate for women seeking clarity, confidence, and fulfillment, helping them unleash their inner power. Joy's life is a testament to her belief that everyone can walk in their divine purpose, bringing joy, transformation, and purpose to their lives. Tonight, we have a special second guest, Miss Shanice Green. I know her as Niecy, and she has more than 20 years as a banker in the Raleigh, North Carolina area. She's a proud mom of 3 sons and 1 daughter. She's a graduate of North Carolina A&T State University. And as a proud member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, she has served the community in several capacities. She is a former cheerleading coach for the Chavis Heights community, a Fred Fletcher Volunteer of the Year nominee with the City of Raleigh, and a volunteer for several other organizations. Coach Niecy, as she is affectionately called, is enthusiastically leading a community project to unite, inform, and entertain the masses. She explained every day that she has the pleasure of fulfilling her purpose by building better lives and communities, one family at a time. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our special guests. I'm so excited to have these ladies here. Ladies, how y'all doing?
Doing well. Hello there.
Hey, y'all.
Hey.
I have so been looking forward to this moment. Joy and I are connected because we are both alumni of Tennessee State University
Yes, ma'am.
in Nashville, Tennessee.
Yeah.
And we also are alumni of what we affectionately call SHOSI, the Tennessee State University Showstoppers. And so very, very talented.
I would give you a song right now, but it's not. Just I'm all caroled out from yesterday.
And then we have with us Niecy Green. Niecy and I are connected in so many ways. We run in the same circles here in Raleigh. And both of these beautiful ladies are my sorority sisters. So you got 3 AKAs coming in full speed ahead on this evening. And we are talking about purpose. Welcome to the discussion for night 5. We are digging into purpose. And what I want to start with is just the baseline, right? We've heard purpose-driven life. We've seen that sort of put before us from several different authors and several different aspects. But when we think about the definition that's laid out by founder of Kwanzaa, Dr. Maulana Karenga, what is it that sticks with you most as you unpack that definition?
Okay, so for me, it's the part that talks about our traditional greatness. Because a lot of times when we're talking about purpose, we always talk about the big things like the how, the why, all of those things. But we don't realize that purpose was already in us even before the foundation of our lives, before the foundation of our community, before the foundation of our people. We had a purpose. And so when we look at it, it's about going back to that moment, right? Going back to who we were already created to be. And so many times I think we don't live our lives understanding that it's already in us and that we just have to tap into it. So for me, it's about restoration. It's about going back to the root and the center of who we are as individuals. And then when we do it as individuals and we remember our value, our worth, and all of those things, then it's easier for us to work as the collective because we all have a purpose and everybody, it's almost like, eyes, feet, hands, all of them have a part in the body. And it's the same thing with us as people. We all have something specific that we were created and designed to do. And the blessing occurs when we are in our traditional greatness, because then we can work together to restore the greatness for our culture and for our people.
I love that.
Jinx, you can't say anything else for the rest of the show because we said that at the same time. I'm going to say your name, Shonda, so you can talk.
Jinx.
Yes, that
I am vetoing all jinxes.
I
That was beautiful, Joy.
mean, I think it's all purpose. We'll get there, but that is my zhush. That's what I believe is we all have it. Like, we all have it, but many of us don't walk in it or live in it because we don't know how. We haven't been given the permission to do so. We're not comfortable in it. And we struggle to really define it. And we spend half of our time talking about, I don't know what it is. I need clarity. When it's like, no, it's there, but you have to be looking for it. You have to listen for it. You have to prepare for it, but it's in you because you weren't created as a shell of a human being to do absolutely nothing. You were created to accomplish. You were created to grow. You were created to be. And you just have to trust that that's in you. God has created you for it. And you just have to be present so that you can hear it and see it and know it so that you can walk in it.
That part. And that's Joy, since you drove the train in this direction. I heard a couple of things that you said right at the outset of that last statement. So let's jump into this one a little bit. What makes it so hard for our people specifically to lock into their purpose in life?
I know I knew my purpose all the time. I was walking around and my grandmother transitioned a couple of years ago, and I was her hospice nurse. And I recorded her a lot. And one of the things that she talked about is what Joy just said. Like seriously, she drove us right into this. And my grandmother would say to me, be who God created you to be. And she talked to me candidly. She said, you got away from us for a little while and we let you. And that's what I struggled with for a long time. I needed a break from the beliefs that I had been taught because my purpose had not been taught in that circle. Many times, as a person who knows a lot of people, they talk about social currency. There are expectations around my gifts. People want me to use my gifts, but my gifts are not here for every purpose on this earth. That would make me God. I am not anyone's savior. However, I serve a higher cause to touch a greater good. And that means, Shonda, you said this earlier, you're going to have the resistance. It's there. But there is a higher calling on my life, which has more purpose than worrying about the resistance. And so my lifestyle has really been difficult for some people because I pick, choose, and decide multiple times in a day. Does this qualify as a reason for me to give away my gifts? Should I deny my God to give you what you want? And a lot of times the answer is I'm just not going to do that. But it was hard. The criticism, the condemnation, the bullying. And when you are uncertain, a lot of times people will swoop in to help you. But that's also an opportunity for you to have a one-on-one with a higher calling. That's where faith comes in. So we have to be careful when we start trying to assert ourselves when we are not the authority on someone else's purpose.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, Yeah.
We started this off. I don't know if we can.
Listen.
No. Listen.
I'm waiting for Joy.
Listen, because here's the thing. Here's what I was going to say. I was going to say that I think people have a hard time finding their purpose because of noise. So you hit it right on the head. It's the noise. Because we've been taught we are people of validation for whatever reason now. Like, it's important for people to buy into who we say we are. And so because we need that, God has already told, and I have clients, I say this, I'm like, listen, I'm not here to tell you what your purpose is, right? That's not my job. My here is to facilitate the conversations that you need to have so that you can walk in purpose. But the thing is, 95% of the women are already there. They know what it is, but either self-doubt, noise, history, past, guilt, all those things have caused them to feel like they don't have purpose, or that the purpose that they know they have is not true. So then they seek validation. So now they're telling people what they think they should be doing, or they're asking people to give them confirmation. I'm like, listen, if God called you, he confirmed you.
Yeah.
Hey, waiting for somebody else who's trying to figure their life out to tell you what you already know is inside of you. Yeah. And so it's the noise. It's even noise within ourselves, because we talk so much negative self-talk. We spend so much time, because I tell people your purpose is so big that when you're walking in God, it's going to be hard for you to really trust that that's what it is. So now you see this thing and you're like, what am I supposed to do with that? So now you're waiting and walking around waiting for other people to validate you, or other circumstances, or comparing your stuff to other people's stuff, hoping that you get some type of revelation, instead of saying, you know what, if God gave it to me, okay, I don't know when, I don't know how, but my job is not to take the steps. My job is to take the step, which is the first one, to trust and believe, to know that I'm valued, to know that I'm worthy, to know that he loves me enough to give me this gift. And when I shut all that other stuff out, then I do it scared. Then I do it. Then I get off the porch. Then I go somewhere. And that's the biggest thing, is we've allowed noise. We've allowed other people's opinions, to Nisi's point, what they think we should be doing, and they're bullying. I love that word. They're bullying. They're putting their own initiatives on us, and we think that, okay, well, I can't be doing it, or this is not what I'm supposed to be doing. So we spend years, months, lifetimes not being who we're supposed to be.
That's it. We've already touched on it, so here it is. Since we're already in the pool, let's go ahead and wade in the water. Imposter syndrome. Go.
Is a lie. I done said it. Ain't nothing else. It's a lie. It's a lie. It is first and foremost, it's the enemy's way to keep you bound, right? The more that you don't believe who you are, the more you don't do the work that God has called you to do, period. So you don't walk in purpose. You don't change your lives, because when you really get that purpose thing in you, you change lives. Your children, your family, your community, the world changes because you are who you're supposed to be. So the thing is, if you can stay bound in not knowing who you are, or telling yourself you don't deserve the things that you have, then you never are effective. And so it's lies. And we have allowed the lies to come into us, and we believe the lie. No, absolutely. I deserve everything I have because I'm anointed, I'm called, I am created, I'm blessed, I'm gifted. All of those reasons are why I am where I'm supposed to be. But if I spend my days saying I don't deserve it, I shouldn't have it, or second guessing, then I'm in this cycle that I continue to go in. So guess what? Nothing happens.
You know, Joy, as a banker, I had to serve everybody who walked in. You came in with $700 in fees, or you needed $2 million in loans. I had to help you. And so I got to see everybody in the world. A 20-year career, I've come across everybody imaginable. And my millionaires had one thing in common. They never faked who they were. But they knew who could do what needed to be done.
Absolutely.
If you never admit that you don't know something, and you're always the one qualified at everything, something's not going to be done with excellence.
Yeah.
And no one wants repetitive failures. And so I experienced imposter syndrome a lot in my profession. I think a lot of people came to me because I wouldn't accuse them of being an imposter. No. What's your vision? What is your stake? And then we would do something that I don't think happens enough in this society. We would create a plan of action. We would have order, things that you just mentioned, because when you know what you know and people are aligned with you that are qualified to do what they know, all of a sudden we're working in a collective effort for common goals and all are winning, then you don't have to be an imposter because there is no expectation for you to do something that we all knew you couldn't do in the beginning, babe.
I like that.
That part. That part.
we're good with you.
Not being able to do that. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Because that's some critical honesty. That is some critical honesty. And, you know, as an artist, people have brought me their babies and been like, she gonna be a dancer. And I'm like, no, she not. But she real good with numbers, though. Do she want to handle the merch tent over here?
And she can dance all the way to the first tent.
Yeah. So
you know,
Joy,
and I think
Shonda, Shonda and I danced together, right?
Mm-hmm.
And after it was all over, I was like, yeah, girl. And everybody asked me, they said, who choreographed this, Shonda? Shonda. She said, why would they think you do? Because I can't do it.
I was shocked. I mean,
Shonda did not even try to make me. It was, it was her show.
Yeah.
I did as I was told, but I got to tell this really funny part, So we're dancing and me. Is there a pop here? Did we miss a pop? I know what I want. And when I work with Shonda, I realize I can't always have that I want because I'm not always in charge with Shonda because I'm not even as focused as Shonda. I'm not even as ordered.
Which you're saying a lot because Shonda's not always focused herself.
But you don't want to look like me, and that's where iron sharpens iron. When we're together, you elevate
as a collective
because you are the stronger order person in the friend duo.
Yeah.
And so I have to be willing to submit. I had to be willing to accept. Here is a light that is going to help me. And then what did I do? I ran off and did some other things, And so when we stop being an imposter and we start realizing we're important.
Yeah.
I don't really have time to fake. I can't because I want to see what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Every contribution
I want you to do your part. I want because I use this acronym for the word gift, right? And this is science. I'm like, a gift is a God-inspired focused talent, right? So here's the thing: everything ain't for you. It's focused. So you can't do it all. Like, I'm a good speaker. That's what I do for a living, right? I'm a good speaker. I'm a good coach. And I used to do, so I understand banking. I did 17 years in banking, but I was on the training side. So I taught the people, right? And here's the thing. But what I realized is I'm a trainer. I can write content with the best of them still, but that's not my focused talent anymore. Like, what God has called me to do is to deliver. So I'm like, Lord, give me some people who can help me as I'm putting things together. So like even the content, the material I put together now, I'll write it, but I'll give it to somebody else to design it. I can design it because I've done it as a trainer for years, right? I wrote content, but why do that when that's not where God? And so now if we're not careful, we'll spend our time doing stuff that does not help the body anyway, because now somebody got to go back and do it and start over.
The right way.
The right way. So listen, so Shonda and I were both in, we were in the show choir together. Okay. The choreographer that was her choreographer is one of my good girlfriends. And she was a choreographer. And I can dance. I can keep up, right? I can count to 8 and pop and boom, clack. But I was better as a section leader. So my girlfriend we were both altos, and she was the choreographer and I was the section leader. Now I could run, and choreograph if I needed to. But listen, I had a better ear. So I could choreograph, but why spend my time doing something that ain't really going to help the group? Because somebody needed to make sure we were all singing 5-part harmony, like the 5 heartbeats, right? So somebody had to make sure that was happening. And so you've got to know where your gifts are. What is your focused talent? Because if you operate in that and everybody's operating in that gift, that's how things get. That's how the collective moves. That's how that's how it moves. If everybody's doing the same thing, we're not getting anything done.
Yeah. I think there's a fear though that someone said this earlier that, wait, is this for me? Like, can I do this big? So I'm constantly asking somebody permission when in actuality, I have gotten to a place in some of my ecosystems, I am the authority and people are waiting on me. But here's what I did not know. What others saw, I articulated in my mind, I'm just friendly. I just know these people. I had no reason to bring anybody together because there was no purpose. And then it goes back to, I think sometimes I have felt that I was not stepping into a calling and it was not my time. That's what it was. You know, so I'm not necessarily beating myself up as much about being incapable of doing a calling. I wasn't supposed to do it at that time in my life. So, you know, a lot of these terms and phrases are not just out in the world. These are the conversations that people are having with themselves. And so I really appreciated this. This was good. I liked it.
That was nice.
It's good. It's nice.
That was nice. And going back to something that Joyce said, you know, we had a choreographer and homegirl is bad. Like the stuff she came up with and programmed, like it lives on rent free in my brain. The choreography is still there. Now, Joy and her ear, that's critical because you could be up there singing and dancing, but if you don't sound like nothing, then what was the point? But there was other giftings in that group. There was one young man who was not the strongest dancer and did not always like land exactly where the tenors were supposed to be. But when you came to rehearsal, he had a smile on his face. When it was time for a water break and Lolly wasn't letting you go, you still holding that coccyx position, he had a smile on his face. When it was time to leave for rehearsal, he was going to hug everybody in the room and tell you how much he loved you. And he'll see you. Like, just the spirit of joy, just the energy that he brought into the room made things work too. So we cannot ever underestimate any of the gifts that are placed. It might seem like Nisi was saying, oh, I'm just friendly. No, but that energy needed. Brings so much and it's needed. It's so necessary. And so I just wanted to make sure we didn't gloss over that on our way to the next thing. Now, ladies, you've both spoken about your professional prowess and how dedicated you are to your work. But when you build your work around specifically purpose and helping others define and develop their purpose, how do you recheck yourself? How do you manage your own North Star? How do you make sure that you are walking and talking what you're espousing to everyone else?
I do it well when I want to.
Listen, it's the honesty for me. Okay.
There are times that I am doing an evaluation and I am looking at systems of this world and I'm thinking, I have to rewrite this code. I have to rewrite this. One of the things I struggle with right now in municipalities, governments, is that we are still in an activist standpoint and most of us have become social entrepreneurs. We are too informed, educated, and capable to do work from a servitude perspective. Consultants are paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to tell you what they think they know, and I know what I know, especially about this community. And I've just explained I can't keep putting on your volunteer conference calls for free. I'm not making any money, and you're not doing anything to help us generate money. So I go do my own thing when I know my purpose. Now, the problem is how I tell people that it doesn't usually come out nicely after I've repeatedly asked for support. And unfortunately, that's something I have to work on. So I'm going to work on that.
I love the honesty. Listen, I love the honesty. I love it. Absolutely.
Just straightforward.
Yeah. Absolutely. For me, it's about checking in with myself. The work that I do with a lot of the women that I do it with is really the discovery part, right? And I don't ever profess to have it all together. I don't profess to be I'll take that back. I was about to say I'm not perfect to be the expert, but I am the expert in what I know that I know. Boom. Let me rephrase that. Yes. But I don't. Yes. But I don't profess to be your only answer, because your answers lie with you, with God, and with your, and with some support. So for me, it's always going back to, okay, Joy, what do you hear God saying to you? Like simple questions that I ask myself every single day in every single moment to make sure that I'm walking in purpose. And then I say, God, if it's not for you, if it's not about you, I don't want to do it, period. I evaluate and I call it recalibration, right? Because it's so easy to get off kilter just with life, wife and mother and entrepreneuring, any of this stuff, right? So all of that, it'll cause you to trip up or forget. So it's always about me going back to what's my core, what's my center. And I know that God called me to transform the lives of the women that I work with. I don't play about it. That's the work that I do. So because I know that, then I'm always saying, okay, how can I make this moment count? What can I do in this moment? So I don't always have to say, Lord, I'm pursuing purpose. Lord, I walk in it every day. So I just want to walk in it, and I want to see how it shows up. And I just want to be the vessel. I want to be the conduit. So that's all I do. And so when I find myself getting frustrated, easily angered, that's when I know I'm falling on the wrong side. So then it's like, okay, Joy, let's go back over here. Or when I find myself tired, it's because I've given to people who I did need to give to. It's because I've sown seeds in places that are not yielding fertile ground. So I always just do daily check-ins. I do momently check-ins. I say, okay, what is it that I need to be accomplishing, Lord, for your purpose today? And then how do I do that? And then there's some days I'm like, I ain't got nothing for nobody. Go find your own stuff, right? And those that's real life. And so even in
the honesty.
Yeah. And in those moments, it's like, well, why do I feel that way? And usually it's because I've done something. It's because I have given. It's because I have not paid attention. I have not been in tune. So it's just a check-in. It's really, and then Shonda, something you said about the choreographically challenged gentle fellow. The gentle fellow. He had joy. And I believe if you ever want to really know that you're walking in purpose, you'll have joy. Yeah. Like you can't explain it. Your life can be falling apart in shambles, but baby, when you do that thing that you're doing, it's something that you can't explain. And so when we're all operating and pursuing that joy, then you can always so even if it's not purpose in the direction that you think it is, if you have joy as you're doing it and it's doing and accomplishing, it is purpose, right? We think that purpose has to be this one line. No, you have a purpose. Purpose is a journey. It's not a destination. So as long as you're on the journey, then every moment is a good moment. So even the moments where you're like, oh, I don't think that went well, but just check, you know what? It didn't go well, but you know what? It's a part of the process.
I tried.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. And I failed. And that's okay too, because failure is a part of the journey. Yeah. Detours, all of that stuff, flat tires. If I drive long enough, car gonna start acting crazy. Life too.
Joy, funny you say, as life just it's young people say it's life. And my 9-year-old really watched me. We learned from my grandmother, and his motto is something that we live by. He says, Mommy, everybody gets angry. I just let it last 5 seconds. And this child, his plan of action, once he evaluates, right, he got a certificate at the end of the semester for forgiveness. And I said, is this what I'm around here teaching?
Yes, it is.
And then I started to realize
clearly
I was living it too.
There you go.
We have such an awesome relationship. Now I'm 3 babies in to the 4th one, but I also feel that it's so important as you talk about empowering women, especially because you teach a man, you teach a person, you teach a woman, you teach a family.
Absolutely.
It's just so important to hear this encouragement. Like, I'm seriously like, can I just get the recording please? Thank you.
I'm just saying, one of the reasons that I started Modern Black Mommy was that I did not want any other Black mom to have to start at 0 where I felt like I started. Yeah. I went to the doctor swearing that I had the flu that was killing people in North Carolina. I swore that's what I had. And when I got there, she asked me a couple of questions and she said, now I can swab you for the flu, but I think there's a different test we need to take. And I came home pregnant, or came home knowing that I was pregnant.
A different test,
right? It's a different test. I came home like a whole pregnant woman at that point. And it was in that moment that I walked out of the doctor's office and sat in my truck. And I was like, what do I do? What is step one? What is and that moment of like that just brief moment of panic was enough for me to go, okay, there's a gap. Yeah. Something is missing. The women in my system have shielded me from a lot. There's so much that they didn't tell me about childbirth and pregnancy and motherhood and the early phases, there was so much that they didn't share with me because they were shielding me. They were protecting me. And I honor them for that and for loving me in that way. But I needed to know what was what. I needed details. And so when I had to turn outward to get those things, every blog that I found was a white girl. every expert that I found was a man. Like, there were people out there that had stuff, but I was like, I don't feel connected to that. I don't feel like. So I decided that I needed to put together programming, or at least gather the circle of women, because I know that women very often have the answers. We know it. And Black women especially, we hold that knowledge within us. We do things sort of innately out of routine without all the time realizing that it comes directly from our ancestors. Like there's been a download that we all got. And so developing this kind of programming speaks to my purpose. Just wanted to make sure that nobody else has to start from zero where I had to start from. And so these conversations are so rich. These are golden. These are golden for me.
I love it. Well, listen, let me tell you. Now, if you, I can relate to that. Let me say that because I have twins.
Oh God!
Dude, they'll be 10 tomorrow.
Oh,
identical girls.
Blessings.
You have twins too?
Well, sort of. I prayed to God that He would give me twins. So when I didn't get them, I said, Lord, what happened to my twins? I got the 4 kids. He said, Shanice, you couldn't take care of one baby at a time. I gave you 2 children born on the same day, and you're still not grateful. I have children spontaneously. The only 2 of the 4, I had them on the same day.
Wow.
Yeah, so I know God is real.
Yeah.
I am absolutely positive God is real. So when I meet a twin or so I almost feel like God is like, see, you know I'm powerful, right? You know what I can do, right?
Listen.
Thank you for being a mom of twins.
Listen, and I looked for resources. My dad's a twin, but he's my daddy, and my aunt passed away before I was born. So I didn't have any resources.
Right.
And a lot of moms of multiples, they have organizations. Nobody looks like me.
No.
I was sitting in these rooms, listening to these stories about how to, multiple these kids. And I'm like, that ain't what I do. That ain't how that works. Like
that part.
And I'm an only child, so I don't even have any siblings. So I'm out here on the ledge, like, what we doing? I don't know. I ain't And so there are needs in our community that we don't even realize. Mm-hmm. So I think it's powerful even with what you do, because it's like, hey, listen, you got somebody that got questions about multiples, tell them, send them my way, because I can answer these questions. I was on bed rest for 3 months. I can tell you what that's like.
Lord have mercy.
I can tell you with contractions at 25 weeks and having your babies at 36 weeks when we talk about God is good. So the doctor, I got the little bracelets for my children that don't have a date on them because we went in October and they were born December 27th. So we still have the bracelets because what modern medicine said was going to happen and what God said was going to happen were 2 totally different things. So I'm saying all that to say, when we really understand our purpose and what we're here to do, we change lives. So just by you going to do what is what we think is a natural common thing as a woman, you're pregnant, but you're like, well, how do I use that so that nobody else feels what I feel? How do I bless somebody else? And if I bless one person, then she tells somebody, because she's like, listen, I went through this thing and I was almost about to lose my mind. I didn't know what to do. And God sent somebody my way. Boom. So then, and see, we look at purpose as this big thing. It's like, no, it's just that next. It's that one thing that you do that honors the work that God has called you to do. And you might not even know it's work. You may not even know it. You don't even know. Like, we think it's like, burning bush, right? Go tell Pharaoh to let my people go. Listen, Moses, ain't nobody doing that no more, right? God is saying, I want you to just do the work that changes the circle of people in your life. Right. Yes, you could be Oprah. Yes, you could be Tabitha Brown. But I want you to be Joy. I want you to be Niecy. I want you to be Shonda, because I have an assignment specifically for you.
Yes.
And when you do the work that I've called you to do, you're going to bless generations to come. You're going to bless people to come. Your children are blessed because you're blessed. And so because you're blessed, you're raising a child who gets an award for forgiveness in a world of unforgiving people. You don't take that lightly. That's the work that you've done. And so, yes, you're living it. And more importantly, you're taught so guess what? When they turn 19, 29, think about the love that they're going to have and the compassion. So it's the blessing of that's purpose, right? It's not a specific assignment. You got to check a box. No, I'm walking every day in this thing. I'm showing up every day. I get knocked down, I get kicked, but I'm getting up every day and I'm showing forgiveness. I'm forgiving my child when they act crazy. And just in my gentleness, just in my love, forgiving my husband, my ex-husband. When I do those things, I'm displaying purpose. And in this moment, the purpose is, I want you to be a whole human being.
That's right there in the mission.
And I tell people,
that's right there in the mission statement.
No, that's my life. I tell people the biggest thing that I want to do, of course, I want to, but I want to raise emotionally healthy children. Because I know what their power is, right? These two young women, I know what their power is, and I know what they're going to be capable. I know they're going to be, got wives, mothers, whatever they're going to be. They need to be emotionally healthy, so they can walk in their purpose. They can walk in love. They can walk in forgiveness. They can walk in change. That's it. So I live my life to make sure that they're healthy.
I am a hybrid parent. So I like to think of my parenting as split shift. I started off as the parent I am now, right? Just very free, fun loving. And then I went into a split shift of traditional values of generations before me, which had a little more corporal punishment, some stonewalling, all the things that cause trauma, because everything just looked different. And then after my divorce, I had to make a choice, like, who am I? And so I've always felt that, I don't like to say this, but it is what it is. I'm almost a grandmother to my younger children. My old temperament, no more, fire and brimstone mom. But there is some accountability that I have to the older children, because I know I wanted every ancestor to ever tell me, to tell me, like, we're sorry. Well, you can apologize for something you don't know that you did. And it's harder for my children to accept an apology because they know that I know. So where is the empathy and the sincerity? They can't really find it. And I'm hearing this from so many people. I'm just one of those people that has the experience of understanding, being that generational kid from being raised around the civil rights, having grandparents, knowing love, seeing disconnect, seeing disjointed family. And now I know better, right? And so when you hear, when you know better, you should do better. But there's still not a lot of guidance on what it looks like. And so to be able to candidly and openly say about me, right? I had to grow up a second time in front of my kids. My bad. I'm sorry about that. I am, because you aren't told about aging from the perspective of reinventing yourself. And the only time that I reinvented myself was when I was in college. So Freaknik Mom
Yep.
came out. I mess with you, Joy. Because you know exactly who Freaknik Mom is. Freaknik Mom come in your office in her 40s.
Yeah.
My bad.
Yeah.
That was good times. I was strong. You know, I knew what to do. I had a purpose. It was to get you a daddy. You know, and so then Freaking Mom had to realize that there was a confidence, but my wisdom and knowledge had to supersede my abilities, right?
Yeah.
You can do anything. I can do. I tell people all the time, I can do all things through Christ except for what you tell me to do if my daddy told me to do something else. Ain't that what the Bible verse said?
I like it. I like it. Yeah.
So here I am now, getting to a place of purpose. I can't be an imposter. Yes, this does look different. And the apology is not to the world. Absolutely. It is to the people I am responsible for. And some of that, those people are in the world.
Yeah.
And so I grow each and every day. And so this conversation is really meaningful to me personally. I'm taking this for me.
So this is mine now.
Yeah.
I'm glad you all are here.
Yeah.
This is mine.
Yeah.
I'm so floored by the way that the synergy between us is just it's just magical. I call Nisi Star Child when like I have a little shooting star comet behind her name on the phone. Because whenever we come together, there's this spark. Our brains understand how like the other needs to be spoken to. I pick up the phone and I hear her voice like, this is not a moment. This is not a moment for the pity party. Nisi, did you do such and such? Okay, well, okay, I need you to take care of it. And having friendships where you can hold people accountable, where you can speak into each other is so important for me. And, you know, growing up, those were not the kinds of relationships that I saw, walked in the world. Like I saw what was portrayed for me in the media was that you had to be in competition and you had to one up each other and you had to do this and you had to do that. And there was a lot of that. And I think that for my generation, we are coming around to seeing things differently, and we are embracing doing things differently in a way that previous generations may not have had the freedom or the leeway to do, you know? And so, I mean, right down to breastfeeding. I breastfed, and I breastfed for a long time. Lord help me. But my mom did not, because she was on a career path. She didn't have time to breastfeed her baby. You better get this formula and take hold your own bottle. Here it is. And she, you know, could sling a chicken nugget in the back of the car at 50 miles an hour like nobody and get me from here to dance class. And it was all about excellence. It was all about Black excellence, very specifically, and pushing and driving, pushing and driving, pushing and driving. And I saw a TikTok the other day that was like, hey, excellent Black kids from the 90s, how y'all doing? And it cuts. And the person is like, I'm stressed out. I'm overworked. I can't focus. The ADHD has finally been diagnosed. And like they go down this list, and every time you see one, you just go, yep, yes. And
do you want to hug us? Do you want
to? There we are. Yes.
So I just love that this conversation is bringing so much synergy, in that there is validation. It's helpful validation that, you know, the things that I hear in the back of my head are also playing out somewhere else. And that, no, girl, that's a real thing.
He survived too. You know, I do take walks down memory lane, and I'm like, oh, look at that. Bad core memory. Look at you. And I started to revisit the core memories from knowledge, understanding. And, you know, there were times even I had to go back and say, I didn't do that. I was not winning in that situation. But when you start replacing the trauma with action items to serve a greater good and a higher calling. And this is why the arts have been so important in my life, creating, being able to replenish this world with a light greater than my darkness. I mean, I cannot emphasize the importance of it. And I'm just really that, Shonda gets to see a part of me that had been suppressed. I put that thing up on a shelf. I wasn't going to dance. I wasn't going to perform. I wasn't going to produce because, well, I didn't have a reason not to.
Mm-hmm. Other than you too old for that. I think generationally, again, there are so many things that like are just kind of put upon us and we don't really understand where they come from. The generation before us survived a very specific kind of trauma. The generation before them that raised them survived a very different, but very specific kind of trauma. And those things that, the ways that Big Mama had to discipline our parents are not going to work for the children that we are raising. The 5-year-old in my house, she's like a timeout. What? Who?
Yeah.
What you gonna do? What you gonna do with that stick, Mama? What you gonna do with that? Really, for real? And they're so smart and so connected. They seem to understand the world in a very, very different way at a very, very young age. And so part of my challenge as a mom is to remove myself and not feel disrespected and not feel, not to take things personally and just understand that, she's a little person.
Yes.
Absolutely. Like I was raised that you're a child and you stay in a child's place and you speak when spoken to and you sit up straight and I know what that has created in me. I know the perfectionism and the bubble that has like trapped me in at times, the imposter syndrome that I struggle with, because if it can't be perfect, then I'm not going to do it at all. I'm gonna sit still and be quiet until I can figure out all the pieces. And that might take me a long time because I also can't ask for help.
Yeah.
Right. So raising my daughter a little differently and giving her some freedom, I think it's going to help her arrive at and achieve her purpose. She's going to understand herself in a very different way from a very young age. And that's one of the gifts that I am endeavoring to give her, even at the cost of my own sanity. Because sometimes I'm like,
but I think that's important. But I think that's so important. And I think one of the things that I think generations before us, I'm 44, right? I think the generations before us, they weren't given permission to let go of the things that happened to them, right? I believe that, we all know trauma is so real, but not everybody's going to heal from it, right? But even if you never really deal with your issues, so it's not even about needing the apologies it's really about saying, I just want to do different, right? I just want to be different. And we're making this, because listen, I'm over the psychoanalysis of all, because we all have had trauma. Childbirth is trauma, right? So you have come into the world in trauma. So we all, and you ain't gonna go ask your mama for an apology for giving birth to you. So there are traumas that have happened in our lives, but they have come so that we can learn, right? And some things are horrible things, right? Things that have happened to us. And it's about healing, but not healing from the place of, I don't believe it's always healing from the place of, you got to revisit, sit in it. Yeah, you got to do that, but you're learning through it, right? It's not designed just for you to heal, that you can be better. It's so that you don't repeat the cycles. And I think a lot of times generations before us know it wasn't right, know that they shouldn't have been beat like they were beat. But because they didn't know anything else and they weren't given other options and alternatives, they've only done it the way that they've seen it done. And so here we come as a generation of rebels, because I don't spank my kids. Never have, right? I think in 10 years, one of my children one time, I tapped a little girl the other day on her shoulder, right? Because I'm trying to do your hair and you are not being still. So I tap on her shoulder.
That's it.
Whole meltdown. I'm like, why are you crying? Don't hit me. I don't like that. Girl, ain't nobody hit you.
Right.
But because that's not a behavior that she sees in us, even that felt like, oh my God, that's a violation. And although I was like, girl, you better sit down and be quiet, I'm like, no, I understand, because that's not a behavior that we do, right? We don't hit in our house. So any type of, now you're on guard and it's frustrating. And I'm like, and so the same thing, Shonda, it was like, I'm almost frustrated, like, you better get it. But then I'm like, no, take a breath, Joy, because that means that you raised a home where there's no violence.
Yes. Yeah. And I don't think we give ourselves credit. No. I think we stay in the frustration of, oh, I can't make this child do what I want this child to do.
Huh? How you gonna be a rebel up there living in peace? You ain't no rebel.
Right. Listen, they're changing life, right? Changing some things, raising some things, doing some things different, right? Trying to but
beat ourselves up for rewriting codes. And if the code makes sense, Shanice will rewrite it. I'm just gonna do it. You know, one of the conflicts I had as a parent was I would not allow my 16-year-old sons to get their driver's licenses until they were like 17, 18 years old. I just simply talked to parents about it. My parents were very frustrated with me. And as a result, I think the kids were very open to being frustrated with me, but it didn't matter. And when my daughter got into a major car accident on the heels of a friend of mine, 2 of her kids, all I could say was, I'm going to take that. I'm going to be the mom that did not give you your driver's license. And I'm going to be fine with it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this society understands choice.
Yeah.
I'm not a rebel because I made a choice.
Yeah.
I just didn't do what you did because it wasn't a good choice.
For me. Like, it wasn't a good choice for me.
Was on fire.
Yeah.
They skipping school. I started using broken English. This is somebody hear me now. And see, then I said this. I was on Oprah. I was telling you when I was 12, and there's something that I said, and it bothered me. I'm 12 years old. I said, they only call me names to get on my bad side. And see, that's what I have to stop. They can't bad side when I'm right.
Yeah.
So that rebelling, I've had to have some conversations because I have a couple of generations back, and we were real knuck if you buck.
Yeah.
We were there when it came out. Like this generation don't understand that about us. They don't understand that knucking and bucking and ready to fight.
We
were the first ones to hear those lyrics.
Yeah.
They don't understand that about us. Right.
You gonna get this mouth, and I gotta stop.
Yeah. But see, let me tell you.
I got a life coach.
But let me tell you, one thing my dad says all the time is wisdom is knowledge applied. And so it doesn't help if you have learned and you're not applying the things that you've learned, right? Whether it's from trauma, whether it's from evolution, whether it's from ancestry, whatever it is, if you are not, and you get to choose. There's a filter thing that you take in. You get to decide how you process it and what you do with that information. So you don't have to do it. I tell all my clients the same thing. You have a choice. And at this point, you get to choose. I had a girlfriend in my house yesterday. We were talking. She went through a divorce and she's dating again. And she was just like, I don't know if I want to raise a man, like teach him how to open the doors for me. I said, well, listen, you got a choice. You don't have to. You get to. The beauty of life is you get to choose. So if you don't want to raise a man and you don't want to have to tell this man, I believe you should open the door for me, guess what? That's your choice. And you don't owe an explanation to anybody about it. You get to choose. And power is in knowing that you have and I tell my clients, power is in knowing you have a voice. And you get to use it. You get to use it. You get to say, you get to write your own story, your own script. You get to rewrite your code because you can choose. And you don't have to justify your choices to nobody. But you and God, as long as you and God are okay. And even some of our choices ain't even God choices. They just choices we make because we want to do what we want to do by ourselves. In which case, be prepared for the reaction from the action, right?
Yes.
But you get to make a choice.
Equal
and you
and
got
opposite.
peace with the choices you make, because they are going to have consequences, good or bad. And as long as you can live with the consequences, baby, then do you. As long as you can rest at night, do you. Your choices are what work for you. As for me in my house, like people, my girls got cell phones for Christmas, right? Judge yourself. They just made 10. But here's the thing. They're also in a technology age, right? But this is what I did. They didn't get an iPhone. They got a plan called Trumi. It's a phone for kids. So it's a real cell phone. It's an Android phone, but all they can do is text and call. It's got web safe browsing. So I did my research because I was comfortable with it. And so after I shared it with everybody in my house, my husband, he was about to lose his mind. But when I started telling people about it, and they were like, I just don't think you should get a phone. Okay, well, I appreciate your opinion. But I know the reasons why I'm doing it. It's because my children are not your average 10-year-olds, right? And so we're having conversations now. We're teaching responsibility. So it's not even just about the phone. We've already said we have an agreement that they're signed.
Yeah.
Like this is what this phone. Listen, the phone is on loan, or you don't own it. I do. So I'm teaching them responsibility through this phone. So it's like, no, it's not about giving them a cell phone. It's about the responsibility that they need, because they're not playing with Barbies anymore. And I don't want them on my phone, because my phone is a grown people phone. And on my phone, there's Netflix. On my phone is YouTube. So listen, I'm going to get you something that you can be responsible for, to teach you ownership, but also to protect some things in the world from you. So it's all about what works for you. And then let's 6 months from now, if the stuff don't work, I'm gonna be like, oh well, that didn't work. Turn them phones in, put them back on the counter, and do something different.
That's it. And I applaud you for having done your research and had the conversations. The responsibility on your part as a parent is phenomenal. I thank you for that. As a public school teacher of some whose parents did not have that conversation.
Check back in with me in 3 months. I'm gonna let y'all know. Right? we gonna finish. It was a good idea at the moment, And I'm giving myself good right then. But I'm giving myself grace in this season. Like it may not work. Okay, and if it don't work,
and that also is bravery. That also is bravery. It's real brave of you to be like, yeah, we're gonna give it a shot.
We're gonna give it a shot. See. And the plan is month to month, so I can turn it off at any time. What? I ain't losing nothing. And the phones are free. Come on, somebody. What did we lose?
That's it. I love that approach, and I love that just the the joy in the journey. Also, you can use that for the title of your next book, The Joy in the Journey. Yeah, but I love your attitude about it.
My coaching program is called Joy for the Journey, because that's all it's about.
See, that's my coach. But that means I need to go on. Yeah. I need to go on and sign up. I've already spoken.
There you go.
Right here, live on the air. Hey, Nisi, tell me about Your Book Raleigh.
So Your Book Raleigh is my baby. It's a community project which focuses on providing information, education, in an entertaining way. We really did finally sit down and establish that we really want to visit Raleigh. Like, we want tourists to enjoy our city. We want everyone in our city to explore it. But we were having a problem connecting all of the dots of what's happening, what programs are in existence. And so I started just paying attention to all of these cute initiatives, and one of my favorite was asset mapping. And by I turn my voice on and everything when I talk about Your Book Raleigh, right?
You do. She dropped in.
I love it. Yes,
because it was my gift back to the community to say, listen, I'm not a salesperson, but I do know what's going on around here because I'm invested. Mm-hmm. And if we all invest a little into one another, we can start really turning the tide on things that we don't have solutions for, such as how do we take care of our children after school? Mm-hmm. Programming after school has really fallen off, especially for middle schoolers. Looking at foster care, what do we do to help these children have a plan of action after they're 18? How do we take care of our seniors? And there were so many wonderful things happening that we could celebrate, but we just didn't have a centralized location to do it. So we created projects to acquire information and share information with our community. And we do it through Yearbook Raleigh because we want people to behave as if it's going to be in the yearbook.
That's cute. That's awesome. That's cute. Yearbook Raleigh is it's new and it's innovative, and it's the kind of programming that's really, really interesting to me because it meets at the intersection of like several of the things that I love. It meets entrepreneurialism, it meets art, it meets people, it meets so many different little intersections that I'm really, really excited to see how that grows and develops and goes forward. And when Joy comes to Raleigh, we can certainly show her a good time.
Oh, yes, please, and thank you. I will curate something just for you so we can play with you.
Okay, well, we're going to do that.
So Joy, tell me about your workshop, because maybe that's something that you can
we can even bring to Raleigh. We will workshop virtually.
Listen, okay, so let me tell you. So speaking of Joy is my company, and I encourage women to unleash the power within and walk in their God-given purpose. And I do that in a couple of ways. So I do it through coaching. I do it through workshops and tools and resources, and I also do it through professional speaking. So one of the workshops that I have in Houston coming in January is called Revisioning the Vision Board. So I will go on record to say I am not a vision board proponent unless you're doing them the right way. Okay, here's what I say. Everybody has written by a billboard for the lottery in your state. You look at the billboard and you're like, oh, I wish I could win that money. And I would venture most of us even go through and identify what we would do with the money. But here's the thing. If you never play the lottery, you never have the possibility of winning. Same thing with the vision board. If you create a vision board and you don't have a plan of action, hello, Nisa, you've been talking about plan of action. If you don't have a plan of action, it's a pretty poster. It's a nice billboard. So my Revisioning the Vision Board really focuses on identifying your values, your why, really defining your purpose and your voice. And then we create the vision board. But the vision board is now created from a place of power and enlightenment versus us just cutting out some pictures and putting them together. So we don't do the vision board till part 2. And then the third part of it is now we create the action plan. So that now when you walk out, you not only have your purpose, you've got your vision statement, you've got your action plan, and now you've got the pictorial representation, which is the vision board. So that's the workshop. So I'm doing it January 27th here in Houston, Texas, but we can do it anytime because I also want to do it in mid-year where we're going to do it. And it'll be a situation of revisioning the vision board, meaning if you had a vision board, how did that thing go for you? And 90% of the people I work with, it has not gone anywhere. You know why? Because you didn't do it from that place. You did it from getting together with some mimosas and some girlfriends and cutting out some pictures, right? Because I tell people, like one of my clients, I said, well, she wanted a house, want to put on a vision board. I said, well, why do you need a house? What do you mean? Why? I need a house. For what? Because you cut out this $2 million home on this vision board. And I'm trying to figure out why you need a house. And she's like, well, for my family. Okay, but why? So we got down to the root of it's about safety and security for her. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, okay, so if it's safety and security for you, what house do you need? Because that $2 million house is cute. But if that's not the house that you really want to have for safety and security, let's put the house that you can attain so that your mindset changes. Because the $2 million house is a great goal, but right now you need a place for safety and security. That's a different motivator. That's a different way to look at it. So if I'm looking for safety and security, I'm going to look for something that works. I'm going to look for something that is meaningful. And then I'm going to do the work necessary for it to come to pass. So that's it. So that's the workshop. So I will do it virtually too. I haven't figured out when. I did it virtually a couple years ago. So I do plan to revisit it. But then I also have this called Sacred Steps, Your Journey Through Purpose and Prayer. It is a planner / prayer journal / goal setting document. It's all the things that I've ever wanted when I got Post-its everywhere and planners everywhere. So I wrote this. It's got scriptures. It's got it's everything that I would want in a planner. But it's written like a book because guess what? You need a lot of space. See that thing right there? All this. So you write your goals in here. So it's goal setting. Every month you write out your intentions for the month. You write out what you're going to plan for in your purpose. Every week is outlined where you can put your to-dos and all of that. But then there's a quarterly review. So we go back and review every quarter what you accomplished. There's also a section where you write your goals, identify the progress made. So I wrote this because I was tired of trying to figure it out and not have a good resource. So it's on Amazon. Sacred Steps, Your Journey Through Purpose and Prayer. It's on Amazon. You can purchase it. And so God has really just allowed me to find resources, tools, workshops, and ways so that women can actually walk in the space that they really know they're called to walk and have the resources that they need. And then, of course, if you want to talk about coaching, listen, Joy for the Journey is my coaching program, 90 days. And we transform lives. We work on your values, your voice, your valleys, your victories, and your vision. And in 90 days, you got a full-on plan. And if it's a star, if you think about it, because the V's, all the corners of the V's. So I call it my star coaching program because it's V's at the end. So that's what I do. And yeah, check me out. And thank you, Shonda, for the opportunity to share all of that. One of the things y'all don't know, Shonda said, when y'all get on here, talk about what you do. This is not the place for you to not talk about it. You know, because you get on some stuff and the people don't really want to share. So I applaud you and I thank you for asking what you got going on. What are you doing? And then talk about it. So you don't understand. I appreciate that. So thank you for being the space where we can be authentically ourselves and talk about it. And it's not a sales thing. It's not a promotion thing. It's your encouragement for us to share with your audience the amazing things that God is doing with us. So thank you so much for that.
You're so welcome. And thank you, because the intent behind all of this always has been to bring, and it's going to bring us full circle to our final question, has been to bring people to an awareness that Kwanzaa is not a 7-day cultural experience where we do the things and we light the candles and we say the words and we, drink from the cup. And that's not what it is. This is a lifestyle. These are things that will walk and talk through your life every day. And if we, like you said, if you teach a woman, you improve the life of a woman, you've improved a family, you've improved a community, you've improved a state, a nation. It just grows and grows and grows from there. So providing this as a resource to all of I have amazing people in my circle. I'm connected to so many wonderful people who are doing wonderful things. And it would be selfish of me not to put you all in front of each other and the rest of the world so that everybody can see how wonderful you are and all the amazing things that you're doing. So thank you for agreeing to come on and talk with me a little bit. Our final question before I let you ladies go is centered around just what I was discussing a second ago. What does living a Kwanzaa lifestyle look like for you? I know we're on night 5, the Nia episode, mm-hmm. We're talking about purpose, but collectively, all of these principles work together. All of the pillars of Kwanzaa, the ingathering, the celebration and commemoration, the reverence, all of the things that Kwanzaa represents. Mm-hmm. How does that walk and talk in your life 365?
I will say for me, I'm what's called an ambivert. So I'm just as much a big, huge extrovert, which no one never sees me as an introvert. And so I've been misunderstood a lot in my life just based on actions because I can be uncommon. But the one thing about me is my core values, my principles. And when I meet someone who has like-minded principles and values, I'm misunderstood a lot less because they are more open to my uniqueness. And Shonda, I have not always felt comfortable in spaces, especially new spaces. And in this case, the creative community, just getting to know our leaders in the community, because as a leader, I was kind of isolated in my own world. But when we started to connect, your core values help me feel comfortable. And I believe that if more people would invest in finding themselves and being centered in the characteristics of Kwanzaa and meaningful, purposeful, purpose-driven life, we would be able to communicate with one another in a collective manner because we'd be independently okay. So thank you for being such a balanced light in my life, because I was able to, say, well, I can be me, but as long as that core foundation of who I am isn't shaken and stirred, it's okay that someone doesn't get me. And that doesn't mean their principles are off, but I'm gonna tell you right now, Shonda, your principles on. These candles, put the batteries in them. Lights on. Thank you.
I love put some batteries in them.
Put some batteries.
365.
These right here. 365.
Mm-hmm.
Light them up every day.
Thank you for sharing your love and light with your child, right? That right there. And then opening it up to, mommies. This is where I've been looking. I've been looking to come to this space. And so that's how Kwanzaa, the principles, have helped me really curate a new lifestyle. I mean, I want to be a better person. When did that happen? Joy, I'll turn it over to you.
I love it. For me, it's about the community aspect of it, right? I believe that during Western holidays, they've become so individualistic, right? It's your family, the people in your house, it's your people. When we look at the principles of Kwanzaa, it's about getting us back to the group, to the collective, to the mission of we all can work together. And so I think for me, it's about community. One of the things my husband and I did a couple weeks ago, we wrote our values for our marriage. We've been married almost 15 years. We just now started this thing. But hey, listen, we got forever to figure it out. So we did it, right? Wrote the values. And one of the values that we wrote was community. And we are the couple that's going to have people over, right? We're the house that people come to. We're the house that you come in, bring your kids because we got kids. So we're not those people like we don't have, we got them old school parties. Go upstairs, y'all go upstairs. What y'all need up there? We're those parents. But we value being community. And so we are a couple, and we don't take it lightly that God has allowed us to be what people would say an example of what it means to be a married couple. Listen, we're figuring it out every day, but we're honest about our journey. Right? We're honest about it. And so we use that. So for me, Kwanzaa, living the lifestyle, is about going back to the roots of community. If I've got information, if I've got knowledge, if I've got understanding, it's my duty to help you. It's my duty as a wife to help a woman who says, I'm about to leave my husband. What do I do? I'm not going to tell you to stay or go, but I'm going to help you navigate that space. If I'm a mother, and my kids are 10, and you got a 2-year-old, you got a 5-year-old, and you've got questions, it's my duty to help you so that you're not starting at ground zero. And so for me, the lifestyle, it's about living in community, living in a place of whole where we're all working together for the common goal. We want our culture to be better. We want our people to be better, but it doesn't work if I only operate as an individual. So if I'm not willing to share my knowledge, my wisdom, my resources, come on now, because there's a lot of people got a whole lot of ideas and thoughts, but they got the ability and the capacity, but we don't share those things. So if I got it, you got it. If I know it, you know it. If I have the availability, you have it, because that's what it's about. It's about us moving to that space. So it's about pouring myself out so that the people that come in contact with me are better having known me. Mm-hmm. Nothing is by chance. Nothing is by happenstance. It is about you becoming a better you because I'm becoming a better me. That's it.
I love it. I'm so blessed that we've had just a few moments. It's more than a few, but we've had some time this afternoon just to sit and chat. This is space that I value. Being able to just talk and share my heart with other women is critically important to me. I always walk away feeling refreshed and rejuvenated after having had the space to share with other women, other moms, other artists, other Black women. There are so many boxes to check here, other Tennessee State grads. I'm just saying, like all the things, other AKA sorors, like all the things. So you all have just poured so much light and beauty and truth over me today, and I appreciate it. And I want you to know that I truly, sincerely believe that somebody out there watching the stream is like, ooh, that was good. I needed that. I needed that. And so I'm grateful. I do not take your time and your talent and your energy for granted. And this Kwanzaa season has been tremendous. The other shows, the other episodes, I cannot wait for everybody to see all the episodes. Because it's just been a tremendous blessing. And so I am grateful. Ladies, do you have any parting words, anything that you want to share with us on your way out?
I would just like to say thank you for being such an integral part of my Southeast Raleigh community. I love you to pieces. Thank you for introducing me to joy, and may this Kwanzaa season be filled with a lot of purpose, because I named my daughter Nia.
Awesome. I just want to remind you that purpose is not a destination, it's a journey. So just enjoy the journey. Find moments of joy, even in the moments that are sad, or even in the moments where you are not so certain. Just do it. Do it. Believe in yourself, believe in it, and continue to go, because the further you go along, the more steps you take, the closer you are to the things that you want in your life. So just keep walking, keep doing it. Crawl, limp, run, stand, take a breath, water break, whatever, but don't stop moving. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies. So once again, you have Niecy Green this evening to discuss Nia on night 5 of Kwanzaa, a modern celebration for 2023. Her information and her beautiful headshot are up on the screen. Feel free to reach out to Niecy there. And then also you have Miss Joy Jackson. Speaking of Joy LLC, you can find her on Instagram and on YouTube. Joy is phenomenal. Please go out and support each of these ladies as they are endeavoring to make a difference in the world. Helping others to find and walk in their purpose is critically important. And again, I am just so grateful for your time on today.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.